Okay, folks, good afternoon. Got some new stuff to show you guys. I was working on today. I took apart some vehicles that I've had for, gosh, over 20 years, for sure. And I actually had the easiest time ever taking apart any of these vehicles. So, I didn't feel like I was going to cut my own fingers off when I did it. It seems to be kind of a precarious thing, but these are the vehicles that we have for the Maquis. These are a mixture of different manufacturers. This one happens to be a Johnny Lightning. This one is a RVMM. I'm not sure what the hell that is. And this one I believe is a Hot Wheels. It is. So, yeah, I was going to paint them in civilian garb. They were very, very bright. This one was bright yellow, this one was bright blue, and this one was a dark blue. And I was going to paint them in civilian garb. And I started painting this one like a dark blue. And I'm like, it just doesn't look right. I'd rather them be, vehicles that are commandeered by the Wehrmacht, and then the Maquis have taken them over again. And they're all painted in legitimate Wehrmacht colors, believe it or not. Actually, the only one that has a color that is not official is this base color is like a dark green. It looks gray in the picture, but it's a dark green. And it has Dunkelgelb stripes over it. And this one is rot brown overall. And hey, Glenn, this one's rot brown overall, and it has Dunkelgelb and the highlighting on Dunkelgelb. And then this one was Dunkelgelb overall, and it's got striping of the lighter Dunkelgelb highlight and also the dark green and the three color thing. So that's kind of how they came about. They don't have interiors in them right now. I'm trying to track all this stuff down, and we're going to paint them because some of the stuff is going to be showing. I just got to remember where the hell I put this stuff at. I thought I had pulled this stuff out. I don't know. We'll see how far we can go today. I'm kind of a little on the let's say sleepy side. Let's take a look inside this guy. And it has not been weathered at all. Okay, I believe. Let's take these apart and make sure. Yeah, I think I got the airbrushing down too. Occasionally you get a like this one. It's unintentional. And it's just your margin of error is so little, so small with it. But yeah, it's going pretty well. I kind of enjoy that I'm kind of learning how to do something new. Okay, this one has a built-in interior. Okay, this guy. This guy does not. So I'm pretty sure this is the interior of this one. It's pretty much ready to go. I am going to, yeah, I'll leave that inside so we know where that one is. This is the Ford Coupe here. This is the interior for it. And this has pretty sure this is the one that goes inside of it. It fits right in here. Yep, that's exactly it. Okay, and then this one is, this goes in through like this. And this one sits like this. And I want to paint the seats and everything in case any of it is visible. And we do have windows believe this is the window that went. We can install them afterwards, but we're going to pick one to do first. We're going to do this one first. It's the easiest one. I'm a big fan of doing easy things first and then working your way into more complicated, because if it stalls, you've already got stuff you've already worked out. You've already got something to show for it. So let's go and get, of course, we're going to put them on bases. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is mine. It helps protect the vehicles, and I like putting them on a magnet, and that just makes it easy. So I think this one's going to be too narrow for anything else. This is about where it needs, this is about the size it needs to be. That's a good one. And there should be several about it the same size, because have a lot of similar vehicles. Okay, these are all cousins. A lot of people are, man, why do you put them on bases? I said, well, you do understand some vehicles are going to have to be on bases, yeah? So are you comfortable with having some vehicles on bases and some without? I'm not. I think it looks inconsistent. And I like the magnetized. Yep, that one's good too. And so's that one. Okay, so I think we're actually good with all of these. Let's just round the corners and then goop them, and that way that part will be done. Now, these guys aren't weathered at all. My wife's glad as I'm on now. She's doing her crafting as I paint. She says, you're entertaining and laughs a lot. So tell her she's my first female viewer ever that I'm aware of. I just don't have content that appeals to women. You know? It's like when I go to Joann's Fabrics, I'm the only straight male there. You know? I'm usually the only male there. You know, you have these little old ladies. Can I help you with something? Are you lost? No, ma'am, this is my territory. I just don't do needlepoint, but I'm a crafty bastard. I don't get upset about it. It's just how it is. She says nice. Yeah, I generally don't have. You know, I don't know if you were on here earlier this morning, but they made a big stink several years ago on some website. I forgot what it was. It might have been on the miniatures page. One of the many stinks on the miniatures page. We got to get women in wargaming. Well, I don't have to do anything. I'm all for women being in wargaming, but my wife can't even. My wife is awesome. You know, she knows she's not listening. But she sucks at movies. She won't watch anything historical. She won't watch anything action. I'll watch girly stuff as long as I don't hate who the actress is. And as long as it's not a Hallmark thing. That all end the same way, supposedly. But, you know, I knew that going in. She's absolutely terrible about... Now, she could be in this room. Well, you know, she's not right now. But, you know, this is a hobby that you can kind of do with your significant other. And you can just hang out together and just, you know, talk. It's not like it's a secluded type of hobby. But, you know, this whole, you got to get women into wargaming. Hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for people of different denominations and color, skin color and stuff like that. But this is predominantly an old white dude's hobby. It is. It's not that, yeah, I didn't pick it to be that way. That's how it started, you know? Hey, Nordic, tell your wife I said, thanks, Glenn. Always nice to hear from my fans. Oh, man. And people just, you know, I'm old school. I laugh about all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I make fun of everything except the Holocaust. That's the only thing I'm not allowed to make fun of. That's just not cool. Pretty much everything else is on the table. So, yeah, so they made a big stink of what we're going to do. I said, I'm going to put on games. Well, I'm not anymore, but I'm going to do my content. And if it appeals to people of a certain demographic, it appeals to people of a certain demographic. You know? There's just some things that some people just aren't going to be interested in. And that's just, you got to just realize that, you know? We're not all the same, and that's okay. Not mine. She loves horror movies. Well, I make her watch anyways. Yeah. Mine's terrible. Absolutely terrible about that. And I'm fine not watching war movies, but I like watching, you know, like shoot 'em ups, revenge movies. No, she can't do any of that stuff. True story. She doesn't watch any of that stuff. One Thanksgiving, we're having Thanksgiving here. This is many years ago. We were already at this house, so it was within the last 20 years. Well, I've only been married 20, so it would have to be like in the last 20 years. She's doing Thanksgiving prep or whatever in the kitchen. The kitchen overlooks the main living room where we had the TV on. I was watching a movie which I didn't think was very intense, nor very good, called Phone Booth, I believe is what it was called, with that Irish guy. The guy who played Alexander, who was the guy who was miscast as Alexander. And basically the plot of the movie, if you haven't seen it, this guy's walking. I've only seen the movie one time, so if I don't get it exactly right, well, I didn't get it exactly right. Walking by a phone booth, and you know, he's basically, if you leave the phone booth, somebody's going to die, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like a thriller, you know, that kind of thing. My wife was like, she was upset. She was like, huh. She didn't want to see it, but she got sucked into the whole thing, and she's like, "This is why I don't watch this kind of stuff." So yeah, I can't count on her to watch, you know, anything like that. Colin Farrell. That's right, as opposed to Will Ferrell. Well, you know, the thing about Ferrells is I don't like either one of them. Yeah, I'm terrible about names. I don't think about actors all day long. But they sure come up a lot here. It's just something we can talk about that everybody can contribute to, more or less. Mr. Barnes, welcome back. So yeah, she's not good at that. We did watch some TV, as I don't watch a lot of TV. It's hard to find things to watch with it. It's usually comedy, and we did watch some comedy on Friday and freaking laughed my ass off. So, this comedian that we both like named Joe Coy, he was on Netflix special on there. One we hadn't seen before. The episode started like COVID this, COVID that, the other thing, mask this. I'm like, okay, I don't want to watch a whole fucking episode about, you know, COVID masks, okay? I'd like to forget. It's one of those things I'd like to forget that never happened, okay? Just annoying. But the episode didn't turn into all that, but it was pretty funny. Obviously, phone booth-based war game scenarios are the way to broaden the hobby. You've advocated for extensive debate and conversation about fine damsels, but it hasn't taken off yet. Yeah. Skylab, welcome. Oh, picked a good time. All the usual suspects here. So yeah, it was a big thing about, oh, we got to get women in wargaming. Hey, I'm all for it, you know. I got no problem with women in wargaming. I've had a couple of them that played a couple tournaments. And one of them even won a tournament. Good for her. It's just generally not something they're into. Okay, we need to get some magnetization. Now the girls are at a birthday party, so I'm here doing my usual putts around. Well, the magnet stuff is not where it should be. Great. I wish I was more organized than I already am. Is it here? Yes. Do we have one started? I don't know where it is. Let's just try anyway. King Nerd Burglar. Cut across about right here. Best way to get females into the hobby is to do it through a painting aspect. There are several women who really like the art of painting miniatures. That seems to be the way to get them in. Outside of fantasy and Warhammer, most girls I've seen in the hobby are either into World War II or ancients. I've never seen a girl into World War II. And I hope I never meet her because it's too late. I've already made my choice. It's too late for me. People in general aren't into history. Forget girls. They're just not into history. Like, I'm not a particularly antisocial person, but I just don't have a lot in common with most people on the street. I mean, I live in a college town that's sports. How about them Gators? That's all anybody knows about. It's freaking old, you know. And you're just watching. I mean, if wargaming was you watched other people play war games, it would be stupid. It would be stupid. I mean, you're making decisions. You're deciding stuff. That's what makes it interesting. Yeah, don't find me any girls that are into World War II. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know that they're out there. Oh man. I told my wife, man, I said, if you come get me more views, just show up on the show. You know? Because gamers are weird, man. They'll be like, you don't even have to be moderately attractive. I'm not saying that's my wife. I'm just saying that, you don't have to be a knockout for gamers to get excited about stuff. You know? There's several people out there that do videos that are of the female, I was going to say persuasion, but I'm not going to go there, that were born ladies, and still are, that are not very attractive, and they get a lot of, like, ooh, I'm like, come on, man, behave yourself. Thirst traps. I hate the new generation speak, but that's actually saying I enjoy thirst trap. And it's different if you do it yourself. I mean, if you want to be out there doing content and you want to make people thirsty, that's cool. You can do whatever you want, but don't put your frickin' children on there. That's the purpose of getting older people excited. The redhead on Broadsword Wargaming is extremely gorgeous. Okay. How about you? Okay. We're going to do this clunker first. There's some on YouTube that are really good painters. Those people that can name the 1976 Dolphin offensive line off the top of their head but think Hirohito is a band of instant noodles or what gets me riled up. Yeah, screw those guys. Screw those mutton heads. Yeah. I've lived in that environment my whole life and I absolutely hate it. I find out when there's a football game or a sports game and that's when we go out to eat. You know, it's not that well, actually, I don't mind watching it. I just don't get emotional about it. Whoa, like, who cares? You know, I'm like not playing and stuff. So, you know. Yeah. Sports nerds. There you go. Back at you. An N-word back at you, bastards. All right, we got to do the inside of this particular vehicle. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and paint the grill on this thing. And I'm going to give it an Agrax Earthshade wash while we're doing that. I did something different. I normally paint the base color, Agrax Earthshade wash, and then camouflage over it. This time I did the camouflage first because I couldn't wait to use the airbrush again. It had been a couple weeks. And I was excited for using the airbrush. So, no, we're just going to Agrax the whole thing. We're going to Agrax it now. Engage Agrax. That one's out. See ya. Hirohito would actually be a decent band name. Where am I going to grab this thing from? Well, we'll just grab it like this, and at the end we'll just paint the top. And we're going to go kind of light on this. That's what I say. I could see it being a power metal band. Yeah. What kind of crafts does your wife do? Glenn, what kind of crafting does she do? My wife was trying to do scrapbooking a while ago, back before the digital age, I should say, and just kind of lost interest in it. All these Matchbox cars always have modern style tires. So you got to try to find ones that aren't too offensive. She makes mugs, tumblers, t-shirts, cards, etc. That's cool. That's neat. But there's a lot of people on the internet is people that are really good digital artists. Just incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. I think I done fucked this one up. Doing it in the wrong order. Well, I'm able to fix it. We'll let this dry and we can fix it from there. Actually kind of a cool color. I don't remember the last time I wasn't able to fix something. With that said, let's not do it on the next one. Let's learn from it. Oh, hold on a second here. Hold on one second. All right, let's hook this back up. I got I can't get a phone call while I'm using my phone as this other camera. And my wife sometimes likes to connect through the Alexa and send me. And I heard the Alexa doing something like, "Yeah, I know, you get excited every time I call your name. Chill out, bitch." And I thought that was her trying to reach me. So I called her. And it wasn't, of course. I don't want that. I've been trying to call you for hours. Well, I'm hanging out with my peoples, man. All right, let's. It's going to take me a little while to get this back up, and this connection through the USB isn't as quick. I think it works a little. I think it's a little clearer. But let's go ahead and launch this again, and see if it auto picks it up. It does. Let's see if everything is right side up. It is. Okay. And we're back on. I'm going to have to come up with t-shirts for us. Okay. If you have to. All right. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this, but I'm sure I'll come up with a good reason. A good thing. Well, I could just spray the same colors over it again. I mean, you know, it's not that big of a deal. All right, let's try to, it actually doesn't look that bad. It's just not what I wanted. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you wanted to order a ham and cheese and you got the egg salad. You're like, well, I'll freaking eat it. And it's pretty decent, but you still wanted a ham and cheese. Something like that. Okay, this is the interior of this vehicle. Let's just start off with chocolate brown. Oh, what am I doing? We need to goop this stuff. But we're never going to be able to finish that. Before we do that, let me take some old ass sandpaper. I don't know how old this stuff is, but it's really, really brittle. Does she have a t-shirt business? Does she sell through Etsy or? Speaking of Etsy, I still don't have that thing resolved. I still haven't gotten the quote back from Noble Knight about what they're going to do with my 30-year-old games. What they're going to give me for them. Said 1 to 3 business days. Well, assuming Saturday was not a business day, I still gave them 3. I'm just tired of customer service sucking everywhere. Just about everybody. I mean, unless you're, no, I would gather most people do some form of customer service. Now, it might be for, you know, customers that. It might not be for the public, which I don't deal with the public, thank goodness. I deal with people that deal with other people, but it's really annoying to get shit service on yourself, you know, to get shit service on, to get, you know, get bad customer service when you provide good customer service where you're at work. No, just makes and sells at craft shows for people she knows. Order stuff. Okay. I came across, I think, some files the other day or somebody was selling files the other day where you could like laser cut like buildings or something like that. I'm like, that sounds interesting, but if I need something like that, I'll just get it from somebody that already has it made. I don't need to make my own. I gotta sub some of the work out. I'm already wearing too many hats. All right, we'll have you dry. Tried to watch the movie with my daughter yesterday, and I just can't watch anything without subtitles anymore. I just can't hear. And there's a special place in hell for whoever designed a television that has the speakers that face towards the wall. So you're looking at the TV and the speakers are away from you. And, you know, I actually got the sound bar working, which I hadn't used in a long time. I still couldn't understand anything that was going on. I'm used to using the subtitles for everything. You know, too many people mumble. So we started watching that Dungeons and Dragons movie. I figured it's going to suck. But it might be a good joke or whatever. I couldn't understand a single word freaking Chris Pine was saying. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this. I'm missing everything. So, have to watch on another format that has subtitles. So, I go to the movies and I hear everything fine. I watch stuff at home and I can't hear jack shit. I can't understand it. So, that was kind of disappointing. She said you would probably need a glow forge for that. They run about $3,000. No thanks. You know, you gotta sub some stuff out, okay? If I cut out MDF buildings, I don't have time to paint them then. Well, painting's kind of what I do. So, I don't want to sub that out. Glowforge. It's like sounds like the big brother of Lightbright. You still make that thing? I always wanted one of those as a kid. Never got one. Never got one. You know, a kid in the 70s, I wanted one. All right. Put this joker away. Can you hurt somebody with a laser cutting device? Then you could, double, like maybe you're like somebody who's into torturing people. Everybody was up in arms in Florida a couple of weeks ago because everybody got some text at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody except me. I've got those things disabled on my phone. It was really annoying. They said, you get this text. Hey, there's a lost child or whatever. Well, what are you telling me for? You want me to go on a manhunt? If we're going on a manhunt, sure, let me know. But if I can't, help track somebody down or something, why even bother and letting me know? I don't see what the point is. Get everybody all hot and bothered. Well, I don't know what the interior color of this thing should be, but we're gonna go with brown. Pretty safe bet. I'm not gonna go with chocolate brown that I'm damn near out of, and I should have bought some at the store. I'm going to go with leather brown, which is damn near the same color. And let's move these guys off to the side. Circuit 3. Yeah, I don't know how this MDF thing is going to hold up. I have a feeling that it's going to fall apart. I guess I probably need to not use super watery paint. Because it is glued with Elmer's. Well, there's a badass in a shitty little car, probably. Billy Badass. Okay, this isn't going to be seen, so I could grab the outside of this and it'd be fine. All right. We still have some of that color alive. That one will do just fine as well. Let's see if we can salvage this. Bless you. Well, I'm glad you waited a while to say bless you. Generally, that makes me sneeze more. It's irony. Irony and coincidences. And I'm just going to paint this brown too. It's not visible, I don't think from the front. And I'm probably going to paint the windshield, but the side windows are open. The windows on the passenger and the driver are open. So I've got to paint the interior. Some of it's going to be seen, but I think I'm going to paint the windshield. I'm not going to leave it clear. I forgot to tell you, I did finally see the last episode of The Mandalorian, and I'm never going to get that hour back. But there is one good thing about the season being over with. They can't do any more love scenes between a fish and a squid. It's like a ministry of bad ideas. They're just trying to be inclusive. Okay. Yeah, the back isn't more visible than that. Just like everything else, season one's good on those things, and then they just start going sideways. You know, they just start going sideways. They did a what now? I'm not going to spoil it for you. It's actually worse than putting Jack Black in it. You would think, oh, you can't top that. Didn't they have Bill Burr in the other one, or was that Boba Fett? Bill Burr doesn't belong in the Star Wars universe. Actually, no one we know belongs in the Star Wars universe. Just put new people in it, man. And now that episode's over, what was the whole point in even having the one girl that ended up working for the one dude and ended up torturing the other scientist? Why was that? Why did they even do that little side thing? That's just silly. Disney. They're doubling down on that idiotic Mary Sue from the trilogy that shall not be named. I don't remember what her name is. Oh, yeah, I do. We'll just give her a name like a flower, like Goldenrod. That's what her name is. She was terrible. You know, watch it. Star Wars ended for me back in like 2005. Even that's pushing it. Speaking of Star Wars, I ordered the last 2 books of Han Solo trilogy. It's Disney. They can't put together a cohesive story for very long before it goes off the rails. Yeah, I'm not a Disney fan. I'm not a new Disney fan. And I'm really not a fan of, hey, let's take these cartoons and turn them into a live action movie. Because they're worse. You know, it's like, you guys just don't have any good ideas left anymore. Oh, well. I like it. It's funny. Everybody was so excited about that Star Wars hotel. And you're putting a Star Wars hotel here in Florida, or they were several years ago. I think it was just before the COVID thing happened. And everybody's all excited. It's going to be like, you know, you're going to be like in this spaceship, and it's all going to be Star Wars theme and everything. Yeah, and they turn around. It's based on the new movies. I don't think there's anybody in my generation who wants to stay in that thing. Well, it's cost prohibitive, anyways. It's like absurd. because it's like a destination in and of itself. It's not like just like a room, whatever. It's people acting and stuff, you know, like they're pretending that they're on some ship, and yeah, that kind of malarkey. Nerd burglar. Nerd burglar alert. I mean, I've stayed at the Hard Rock Hotel at Universal Studios. There aren't people dressed out, you know, there aren't people dressed like freaking Guns N' Roses, like, you know, impersonators walking around and shit like that. It's just a freaking hotel. The actress that plays her is cute, but she's a terrible actress, and that whole character was horrid. Yeah. I'd be tempted to go if it's actually like you're on a Star Wars ship. That would be interesting. Nah, it's all malarkey. You know, they got one of the shows. I guess it'd be a show ride. A new Star Wars show ride. The first one they did was a Millennium Falcon one. That was pretty freaking cool. Okay, I think it's called Smuggler's Run. So after you wait in line, you get into like this cockpit, and it's like 4 people at once, and like one person flies the thing, and another one's got to do things at the right thing, and the whole thing is like you're inside them. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it's just like a make believe story. Han Solo's not in it. Nobody you know is in it. You know, they did a good job with that one. Then they did the Rise of the Rebellion one, and it's a multi-part thing. It starts off, you walk in, it's actually 3 parts. First part, you go in and it's like a simulator. That's pretty neat. And then you go into another area and there's live action people you're like taking around, like, you know, you're a prisoner and you're getting put in this jail cell. And you got all these people that are live action folks dressed up like Imperial, you know, Imperial wannabes, whatever, on a ship. But they just don't, they're not very scary looking, okay? It's like if these people locked you up, you wouldn't be really worried about them based on their competency level, you know? Yeah, that was a little lackluster. And then the third part is the actual. It's a pretty cool ride if it's operating right. It's always seemed to be breaking down, but I got no plans of going to Disney anytime soon. They just make it so difficult for people to go there. Regardless of anything else, it's just every time they make a change to something, it makes it less user friendly. So you spend a lot of money going to those places, and you'd like to at least see everything once, and it's just not possible, you know. They fear an individual getting credit for creating a new story that takes off and gives them the leverage rather than a mega corporation. Ooh, that's an interesting take, Ben. I'm not going to disagree with you. That's kind of yeah. Yeah. It wouldn't take much. It wouldn't take much to make something that would take off because, you know. You know, I don't necessarily have a problem with it being Disney, but the problem is Disney can't be involved in everything. I mean, they own freaking news, they own ABC, they own ESPN, they own all this other stuff, all these franchises. Like, man, just enough's enough, man. Why you got to be everywhere? Deep Red. Sorry I'm late. What's being painted today? Oh, we're painting vehicles for the Maquis. There is a Star Wars themed brothel in Vegas. What really ticks me off Disney Star Wars is when they port in characters from the expanded universe before it was purchased by Disney. They completely miscast the characters. Expanded universe. You mean like that Thrawn people keep talking about? I don't know anything about that. But I'm telling you again, I'm pro-human. I don't care what color the humans are, okay? I don't give a shit. I don't care what race the humans are, but I am pro-human. You know, I'm not... It's okay to have a few Muppets in there, but when it starts getting two Muppets, I don't want to see Muppets sucking face, okay? Oh, man. You face-sucking Muppet. I don't care what people race, what race the people are. Just cast people correctly, man. Or, you know, cast people that act like they want to be there, you know? All right, let's lighten this up a little bit. See if we got any of this white that we can... Nah, it's dead. Can't say I've actually seen an episode of Jerry Springer. Yeah, I don't believe I have. I'm not missing anything. I don't have to go crazy on this. It's hardly visible. All right, I will be right back. Let me get a beverage. I'm not even going to mute the phone, the feed. see if I can mess this thing up big time. If not, I can fix it. Just kind of annoying. Hell, maybe it'll turn out better than before. If you ever wonder if there are country folk over here in the UK, my village just had the annual tractor run where they drive restored tractors through to the pub and get leathered. Getting leathered sounds like something that happens to you when you encounter a bike band and a motorcycle gang, and they do it without your consent. What happened to you last night? Oh man, I ran into these bikers and they leathered me. You were cheated being born in the U.S. Get out of here, man. You just miss having those beans for breakfast. Creating new fetishes. No, it's just what it sounds like. I'm not into that. I'm actually not into leather at all. Yeah, drive a tractor to the pub and there's Rob Halford having his way with you. But the toys, that's right. Oh, man. Okay, so we're going to attempt to do the same thing I would do if this was a tank. And that is to take the base color and dry brush it over it. The base color of this, believe it or not, was German camouflage dark green. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Obviously, it still gets weathering on top of it. If I fail at doing this, then, I could just repaint it. It's not like it's that big a deal. It's just annoying because it's looking pretty good. So we're going to do that. And let's get a piece of cardboard that's already been leathered and bring it over here so I can dry brush some of it off. England is a land of toys. I'd say save a lot of the shipping. Let's get one of these brushes, but one that's not too expensive. No, one that's not too large. This one. This one's good. This one's good. Let's see if we can pull this off. Wanted to ask this. Why is the Maquis car painted camouflage? Okay, because it was a Ford. It's a Ford that, here's the backstory. Here's the fluff story of this vehicle. They had it in France somehow, and the Germans took it over and put it for semi-military use, spray painted it, and then the Maquis got a hold of it. That's the story. Now, if this does work, what I need to do is when I paint this camouflage is be a little bit more bold with it and not subtle. But I can come back and spray paint that color on it again. It won't be tonight. I already put that stuff away. This will end up being fine. So that's basically what the story is. I don't know if this is a vehicle that's always going to be in their service, so I'm hesitant to put free French symbols and stuff on it. This is the color that was on it originally. And this is what I would be doing if it was a tank, and it would turn out well. I'm going to have to give it a light overspray afterwards to make it brighter again. It'll work. Just decided to do it in a different order than I normally do, and I should have stuck with it. If that's what you think leathered means, I won't push you to use bladdered. Sounds like you didn't make it to the bathroom. I'm afraid of what you horrors you will invent. There's also rat-arsed, but that goes back to the leather. There's no bourbon in England. You need to drink gin. Yeah, all that nice cami I did on there is gone. Or most of it anyways. No big deal. Whatever. Shit happens. About time I painted something that didn't turn out how I wanted it to. Yeah. We lost almost all the camouflage. It doesn't look that bad. It's just not how it was before. Yeah, we'll respray it. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay, this is... We'll go like this. Let's find out where the window for this thing is. It could be that one. I believe this is the back one. There's another one. They were a pain to take out. And there should be a third one. This is the coupe, I believe. I guess I should have taken better notes of what goes on what. Okay, this one has the big one here. Okay. So this goes with this, goes with that one. Got it. All right. This has got to be... This has got to be the rear one. Okay, and this has got to be the front one. It is. Okay, so where's the coupes one? Well, it doesn't matter because we're not doing the coupe right now. Okay, so we have a rear window and we have this front one with the little side things. So we're going to paint that. I don't want it to be clear. We're going to paint it. So I believe on the Flames of War site, I had bookmarked how to paint windows that I liked. Windows, windscreens. See if it's this one. It's not that one. Yeah, it is. That's okay. The not so easy method. Look at the shiny. It's not actually shiny, just checking and thinking it is. Cartoons, the same effect. Okay, contrast, light reflection, breaking it down. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint it that way, and it should look just fine. Now, for this, I'm going to go ahead and use this particular pair of tweezers that locks in place. Or better yet, I'll just use one of these alligator clippy things. And we can attach it there. All right, let's paint the whole thing black for starters. I didn't want to jump to conclusions and see that this is how I was going to do it before I actually did it. Well, I would have just sprayed it black. This will do fine. Paint the inside too, so it won't be as transparent. Okay, we're going to do the same with the back window, which is here. Let's go back to the screen here, where we're at. Peasant figures. Raupartha. You mean the Demon World figures? Man, those were going for a pretty penny when they were at it, when nobody had them. Okay. Painted Black is one of the few Rolling Stones songs I like. I haven't heard a lot of stuff by them, just the stuff that gets airplay in. That's a good one. One of them Vietnam songs. Okay, so we're going to paint the top dark blue and the bottom like brown. Right. Let's get a dark blue that's not outside right now. This is a Prussian blue. I don't feel like getting the wet palette. It just takes up too much space. It takes up too much space, and I have too many things out here right now. I'm an idiot doing this on cardboard, but I'm lazy and it's right here. Okay, as you go back towards the bottom, it's going to get lighter and lighter. We'll paste the bottom of it brown according to this guy. I like how his end result is, so let me try it. My natural inclination would have just been leave the windows out. No windscreens at all. Demon World. Decent price, some coming in. Also covers scenarios for all ages book. It's out of print, but Caliber had a copy for a reasonable price. What do you call it? Scenarios for all ages. Is it for kindergartners to 99-year-olds or for ancients all the way to modern troops? All right, we've got a grill here that has to be some kind of metallic color. Get him to the grill. Ancients to Modern. First, I thought it was a kid's book. From reading reviews, it sounds really good. Okay. I took a look at one of those. I think it was 1 Hour War Games or something like that. I saw a copy of it in the big used bookstore, and I picked it up. Spent a little bit of time reading it or looking through it, and realized this really isn't for me. It's a little bit too generic. Is the American Civil War popular in Old Blighty? I mean, the English Civil War isn't popular here. Very generic, but I think it'll dovetail my fantasy and darkest Africa projects, and probably pulp too. How's that Vallejo game color? Is it more watery? Is it like almost like airbrush paint? Went to a store yesterday and they carry the whole line. Like, well, that's pretty cool. Let's get this dry brusher. I love this AK MIG paint. Love it. There's like literally no jams with all the painting that I did today. Went really, really well. Lots going deep into Cowboys in the UK at the moment. The two fat lardies come up with a game and people go crazy. Not overly watery? Okay. See, it's always been popular over here. It's probably why Warlord released their epic set. I'm honestly surprised. But hey, you know, what am I to say? I don't like American history, so, among other reasons. There's lots of reasons why I don't do American Civil War. Lots of reasons. I think it might be the same reason you just described there, Ben, why people like doing Victorian stuff here. Sword in the Flame and such like that. Iron Breaker. Right. I haven't used this stuff in a while. Tony, have I ever considered the Spanish-American Wars as close to your roots? Is it a bit too one-sided? It's too one-sided. My dad had a fetish for it. Of course, he was born on that island. If I played it, I'd have to play the Spanish. But have you seen this uniform the Spanish used in it? They look freaking stupid. They got Mauser rifles, but everything else about them sucks. Straw hats and pinstripe uniform, just stupid looking bastards. And it's too one-sided. But my dad had a thing for it. But, you know, he was from there, so. I'm not a fan of very one-sided conflicts. Kind of hard to get excited about a war that you're not excited about the uniforms. American uniforms aren't much better. They are better, but well, that freaking stinks that I'm not going to be able to finish this because I went and made a kind of a mistake. Kind of, not really. All right, so here's what we're going to do. What time is it? 4 something. I'm going to attempt to pull something. I'm going to go ahead and leave this running. I'm going to mute the mic. I'm going to go out to the garage. I'm going to spray this real quick back to where we were, and I'll be right back. So you will not remember the main. Nope. Yeah. I'll be right back. And the first thing I'm going to say about airbrushing is nothing's quick. Anyone ever bought Venexia 15mm? I have a few of their figures. They're beautiful. They used to be back in the day. Okay, so here's what we got. I tried to replicate this about as good as it was before, which I was really happy with it. It looks like it's white, but it isn't. So we've got Dunkelgelb as the main yellow that's on it. And then we've got the light color, which is actually, this came with actually 3 colors. The Dunkelgelb base, it came the Dunkelgelb base, the lighting, which is the highlight, and then one that's almost like white. So this color, it looks almost white, is this color right here. And we got it about to where it was before. And before I screw it up anymore, let's try and fit this window in here and see what this even looks reasonable. See if this even looks reasonable. Yeah, Lancashire Games now carries them. They were out of print for a while. Their Ottomans were beautiful. Well, I got it in place there. I don't know if I love how it turned out. With the windscreen, it's kind of stylized a little bit. I'm going to leave it be. I don't think it looks half bad. Some of this stuff you don't know until you just roll with it. Now we got to put the rear window down on this. Of course, I hadn't painted yet. I need to seal this thing up because I want to do some weathering on it and feel better about it and kind of tie it all in. Sometimes you kind of need a little morale boost. But I was a little disappointed that I ended up going over what I had done, but I pretty much got it back to about where it was. What else was on here? Anything else? No, that was it. Okay. Let's close this back up. And here is the chassis that it goes on. We'll need to paint the wheels black. And when we weather, it'll be a little bit less. When I dust it up, I should say. The Agrax is just to give it some different type of modulation, so to speak. Okay, so let's paint the wheels. Let's paint the wheels black, or at least the part that's visible black. Where'd my little tray go? Over here? Lancashire, the rest of their stuff looks weird. Really weird. Disproportioned. I don't know, maybe in the flesh they're okay. But they don't appeal to me the way they look online. Same way the new museum stuff. The new museum stuff doesn't look very good on the online picture. You see it in person, it looks great. The online pictures of them look like it's some kind of like pseudo Games Workshop looking thing. These unfortunately are going to have hot rod tires. I'm not going to go and replace tires. That's a bit much. Very thin ankles. Yeah. I think they do better pictures of their stuff. You know, I've got some irregular figures. The irregular figures aren't that bad. They look better than... That's one of those figure lines that had they not shown them painted, they would actually look better. You know, if you're not going to have your figures painted by somebody who's really pro level, not pro level, but like pro level, like get a good painter, like whoever's got, whoever was doing the figures for the guys that just passed away recently, the sculptor, the Italians guys, Leggio Heroica. That's how you show painted figures. That's how you show painted figures. The stuff looking like that. All right, we still got headlights to do. We still got this rear view thing on there to do. I may repaint the front. I'm not 100% sold on the windscreen. I don't want it to be clear though. That's just kind of silly because I don't want it to be shiny. So, you know, it's going to end up getting frosted looking. So I'd rather not. I'd rather have a painted windscreen. All right, let's get our usual suspects here, which is field drab, Lancashire thin ankle. So they're the opposite of Blue Moon, who have fat ass ankles. I think that might actually be too small of a one. Weird animation. Yeah, that's always annoying. Like the Atlantic figures. Let's go to war, you know? No, looks like you're having a parade. All right. These are the same colors that are going to be in the groundwork. Honestly, this airbrushing on it, other than like one spot on it, this redo on the airbrush turned out really well. But man, I had to be really careful. And this, of course, there's all kinds of dust and shit coming up here. Good call. They have the exaggerated animation at Atlantic Cat. Now that you mention it, God, that's so annoying. That's why the Airfix figures are so damn good. Almost all of them have decent animation. You know, and it goes back to the Essex figures, okay? I don't dislike Essex. I don't. But there's some figures that their whole army shouldn't consist of them. You know, if you got a guy that's, you know, he's on a horse and he's got a lance in his hand, he should basically be paying frickin' attention, right? He's either charging or he should be holding his lance up like this. Not being like, I don't want to have anything to do with this lance. That's fine if there's one guy or maybe 25% of your figures, but if most of your figures in the army are doing an awkward position that it is to hold, it just looks like, you know, you're up to something. You still hear the music? If it is, it's my daughter working out in the other room. Yeah, they got home on top of everything else. But I figured, I'm going to be gone for... It was like half an hour I was gone. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know if doing the Agrax even made that much of a difference. So I don't think I'm going to even do it on this other one. I just created a lot of extra work for myself for no reason. I think. Oh well, shit happens. Even I make mistakes. Yeah, it sounds kind of tribal, doesn't it? Doing some kind of workout in the exercise room on the other side of the house, but still. With the door closed. I know that a lot of this stuff would probably catch some of this dust, but they were driving down this road really, really fast. How about that? There's the backstory to that. They're not exactly going to wash this thing, you know what I'm saying? It's actually not a bad looking vehicle in and of itself. Kind of a distinctive Ford look. Well, actually, I don't know. I'd have to put a Ford right next to a Chevy, see if I can tell the difference between them. Probably if they were right next to each other. But there's some of those German trucks that they were built by Steyr, and I think they were a Ford model or something like that. And they are not the most attractive vehicles. They're got some features that I don't think look very good. All right, let me step away from this thing and take a look at it. I think it looks okay. It looks a hell of a lot better than when I started with it. That's for damn sure. Needs headlights. How many people could climb in there? Probably 4. Yeah, I hear it. I can't hear shit, but I can hear bass forever. Away. In the back, yep. It works. It works. Well, I don't think I'm gonna agrax this thing. I'm just creating a shitload of work for myself. For no reason. For no reason whatsoever. Now, let's paint some let's paint some headlights. Oh no, she dried. think it's the Opel Blitz trucks, actually. Of all the headlights that I did, the Opel Blitz trucks actually turned out the best. Which I think were Ford licensed vehicles. I'm pretty sure they didn't pay for the licensing in the Second World War. And of course, we're going to have to paint whatever that dividing line on the... Let's use something really thin for that. You don't want to screw that one up. Let's use that metallic color. Painting the black leather gear is mind-numbing. What black leather gear are you painting? I don't like painting the Panzer Cruise. It's like freaking boring. It almost looks like I'm painting it and I lack imagination. Hoping it wasn't Sunday, but I guess I got a lot done this weekend. I'm getting really good with the airbrush as far as cleaning it. Almost to the point that I'm probably going to be comfortable doing an airbrush video when the girls leave. For noobs. Maybe for none of you guys, but you know, for people that have questions, there's some stuff that I've had to figure out the hard way. You know, you get up getting a lot of questions, you're like, man, I can't get anybody to answer this. Or they're trying to answer it to you and they've got an agenda or something. It's like, just cut the crap and answer my question, you know? Hat brims, backpacks, cartridge cap boxes, haversacks, belts, bayonet, scabbards, all of them in black? That's awfully boring. Does it look okay, or does it look like boring? Okay, let's bring the lighter colored one, whatever the hell it's called. What do you call that hat everybody uses in the Civil War? Is it a kepi or a kepi? Kepi? Union troops gear is bland. Yeah. Got any Irish units? Kepi, so your first pronunciation. No specific units yet. If I had to do ACW and somebody held a gun in my head, that's the only way I'd do it. I'd definitely paint the ones by my hero, because that's the Old Glory ones, man. Those figures are beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. Looks a hell of a lot better than before. Yeah, I just got to do one where I'm not going to be interrupted for a while. It's not going to be I'm really good at like the hand painting, but not the airbrush. But I'm okay. I do, you know. The problem is the problem with the airbrush is even being careful, you still end up making mistakes, you know. And it's really the hardest thing. The hardest thing now is to get, you know, to hold it at the same thing and get it started. It's almost like I get the stream started how I want, and then hurry and bring it up here, and then I ran out and come back, start it up. Okay, we got it going heads, and then bring it on here. You know, I'll start it on the actual thing, because then you end up getting some imperfections and stuff on it. I'm pretty. Let's see. Let's put that next to something that would be with it in the same time period ish. I don't have it. All my Opel Blitz trucks are gray. So how does it look next to my first airbrushing job? I think it looks all right. It's just a shame that light color looks like white, but you know, I just figured they'd probably use whatever the color the hell they call it. Hurry, hide that thing so it doesn't look like it's, you know, going to get shot at from under this, from the sky. Yeah, what else would be hanging out with it in Northwest Europe? Everybody's favorite go-kart. It's a Raffin Panzer II. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it. So it looks a lot. I'm glad I decided not to make it all like civilianed out. I figured the Germans would probably commandeer every damn thing. They're not going to let like regular French people drive around the countryside, you know, with vehicles, you know, using the Fuhrer's fuel, you know. I don't think that was a likely scenario, so. Anyhow, I did want it to look kind of haphazardly painted. Think that works okay. Okay, folks, on that note, we're going to sign off on this one. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry for the long break, but it was kind of necessary. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll get this thing sprayed and hopefully based in the morning. I can't wait to put this thing on a base, make it look like, it's going to look a lot better with like little bushes and trees and shit like that. So, not trees on a base, freaking tree on a base. That's absurd. But, okay, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping by.